Keir Starmer just seems to be agreeing with everything that the Tories say at the moment.
Palestinians have got right to live, so do the Jewish people.
Now we've got Keir Starmer. Sir Keir Starmer. Who is Sir Keir Starmer? A supporter of Zionism.
They're a continuation of the Conservatives, and as I always describe them, they are wolves in sheep's clothing.
I'm in Batley and Spen today because a by-election's taking place here on the 1st of July. It's attracted a lot of interest because although it's a Labour-held seat, Sir Keir Starmer seems set to oversee another embarrassing Labour defeat. That's in part thanks to a large, politically active Muslim community in the constituency who are utterly fed up with Labour's reactionary Islamophobic positions. Whether it's Labour's indulgence of Hindutvari fanatics on Kashmir or its subservience to extremist Zionist groups in respect of Palestine. This by-election's being held shortly after the holy month of Ramadan, in which the Israeli regime escalated its campaign of ethnic cleansing against Palestinians across Gaza and the rest of occupied Palestine. Labour's failure to say anything of substance during these pogroms, lynchings and missile bombardments has only compounded what many Muslims in Batley and Spen were already feeling. A sense that the Labour Party is institutionally Islamophobic and doesn't support their priorities. This election's seen a resurgence of Muslim political agency and power, and it's frightening the Liberal commentariat, who are now desperately trying to smear Muslim voters as anti-Semites, misogynists and homophobes. Put simply, they're getting their racist excuses in early. But it's not just foreign policy that Muslim voters are concerned about. And it's not just Muslim voters who are concerned. So many people here are outraged about Labour's neglect of its diverse working class supporters.
It's been a while now since I've been disillusioned with Labour. The policies, they don't match what we were brought up with, and generations have been voted Labour. Now I don't see the purpose of voting Labour because they're a continuation of the Conservatives. And as I always describe them, they are wolves in sheep's clothing.
Labour Party is becoming more like, it's like other side of Conservative. Probably more becoming capitalist or the capitalist ideology.
Jeremy Corbyn was a person that always stood with Muslims, has always stood with people, not just Muslims, people in general. Now Keir Starmer's come in, now it's more looking like we don't have an opposition.
They're just out of touch with the people in the area. For such a long time we've voted Labour in and they've done nothing for us. We had a Coronation Street actress who did nothing, and now we've got Kim Ledbetter, nice lady, but no political ambition until a few weeks ago. She goes to the House of Commons and she'll get eaten up like a minion.
On a local level, they've mismanaged the economy within, Batley and Dewsbury in particular. All the money is going into Huddersfield. Huddersfield's getting new magistrates, new sports centres, new colleges, new university, massive improvements in the town centre. And Dewsbury and Batley, like ghost towns, we've got charity shops and a few takeaways. And that in itself is causing a lot of friction within the communities. Look, if you look around you, there's potholes, there's just neglect everywhere you go.
Labour Party's been basically running the council nearly 20 years now. There's a lot of problems that have just been completely ignored. There are people actually contacting councillors regarding local issues like litter, weeds, potholes. Councillors basically don't seem to be doing much. The simple reason is every election they get 3,000 or 4,000 votes, and they just basically know that they don't have to bother because they'll just bank the votes every 4 years.
Labour Party has done absolutely nothing in this local area. I look around these estates and I see it almost makes me want to cry.
I don't think Keir Starmer's got a clue. And he made a comment when he was on TV saying, this is not about the Labour Party, this is about Kim. Well, I'm sorry, it's about the Labour Party and what Labour will do for this area. And I think there's a certain amount of arrogance in there, thinking that, well, the people in Batley and Spen, flat caps, hobnail boots, no disrespect to you, they'll vote for Labour because they've always voted Labour. But I like to think that long gone are the days when you voted Labour or you voted Tory because your mum did and you don't really know who you're voting for. I think now we've got to be a bit selective and we've got to have somebody that's going to get the job done.
But the bigger picture than that is, which one of the main reasons I've felt upset with Labour is their international policy. There's been a witch hunt for people like yourself, one of the main reasons, and then people, even Jeremy Corbyn, he's been unfairly treated, and then Palestine is the one issue that I've totally given up on Labour.
As far as I'm concerned, I believe in live and let live. Palestinians have got right to live, so do the Jewish people. We believe in humanity, we believe in equality for all. And George is one person, he brought the Palestinian issue to common man. Those who didn't know, they also know a bit about the Palestinian issue. So that's one thing good about George.
He has an impeccable track record of actually speaking out on local, national and international issues. He doesn't shy away like other politicians. The good thing about George is that he doesn't have to toe the party line, whereas if you've got a Labour MP, Conservative MP, they will never necessarily express the opinions of the constituents.
Keir Starmer just seems to be agreeing with everything that the Tories say at the moment. Whether that's because of COVID or he doesn't know what he's doing, I'm not sure. I really don't know, but it's time for a change.
Now we've got Keir Starmer, Sir Keir Starmer. Who is Sir Keir Starmer? A supporter of Zionism. Do I support Zionism? No. Zionism is extremism. Of course the Muslim majority is going to be angry about that, because we support Palestine, we support Iraq, and we have Tony Blair and Sir Keir Starmer that now run the party and are making this party an absolute shambles.
They seem to be now saying that anybody who's actually supporting George Galloway or who's basically thinking of voting against Labour, calling them anti-Semites, they can't expect to get the Muslim vote for granted and then ignore Islamophobia. This is totally unacceptable.
Contrary to the bigoted portrayal of Muslim voters as anti-Semitic drones, supporting Galloway because of their supposed hatred of Jews, I've seen informed, politically astute people who know exactly what they're voting for and why. After speaking with voters on the doorstep, I met up with Tosh MacDonald, a proud socialist and former president of the train drivers union ASLEF. In 2018, Tosh and I campaigned together on the Democracy Roadshow to give grassroots party members more of a say in how the party's run. Tosh was a Labour councillor in another Yorkshire town, Doncaster. He left the party earlier this year because of the behaviour of Labour Party bureaucrats and his disagreement with the party's new political direction under Sir Keir Starmer.
I think what the Labour Party's trying to do, it's trying to have an industrial cleansing, get rid of industrial workers from the party, and they want the blue suits and hair product brigade in there, and that's it. That's the same regional Labour Party, Yorkshire and Humberside. And to look to what they've done here at Batley and Spen, another long list of one, somebody who wasn't even a member of the party a few weeks ago, is being ushered through. And it's cheap, really. It's been a bit cheap and trying to get somewhere just on a name and who her sister was. And that's cheap. At the same time, good socialists, Labour Party, industrial workers are not getting through and not getting selected onto the panel. It's not trying to win over existing voters. It's the millions of people who don't vote you need to inspire, like Jeremy Corbyn did. And if it hadn't been for traitors within the party working against us, we'd have won in 2017. I mean, you hear it on the doors, there's no difference between Labour and the Tories at the minute, and there isn't. So who's speaking up for working people? So anything that's happening now, people are going short. The way we've been through COVID, where people have died unnecessarily, that's down to the sabotage within the Labour Party. That's what it comes down to.
When campaigning ended for the day, I spoke to Jyoti Brar, the deputy leader of the Workers' Party, which is led by George Galloway. Before hearing from her about the campaign, I was welcomed by the party's activists who were enjoying some downtime.
There is no one compares with you, and these memories lose their meanings when I think of her.
It's certainly clear where the soul is in this campaign.
The astonishing thing, Chris, is for a new party like ours, which didn't exist a year and a half ago, here we are able to put on such a decent performance that we can knock every single door in this constituency and do our best to talk to anyone who's at home. We've put leaflets through every single door. We've talked to so many people, and we've done that because our campaign is really attracting enthusiasm. None of the other campaigns are able to do what we've done in terms of door knocking because people aren't inspired to come and support the Labour Party candidate here. They're not inspired to support the Tory Party candidate here. In fact, the Tory Party candidate is essentially relying on the mainstream media and the national government to do his job for him. We haven't seen him at all, or any of his people. The Labour Party, occasionally we bump into very small squads. They look to us like they're doing sort of hit and run, if you know what I mean. They're going to very specific addresses, presumably to shore up their vote. They're not going places where they might get a bad reception. And they're probably right to do that, to be honest with you, because what we've found is a huge groundswell away from Labour, desperation for change, for new leadership, for a new voice for the working class. There's so much anger amongst working people after 40, 50 years of neglect and abuse from both of the mainstream parties. They've really had enough.
I must say I've been pretty impressed by the ubiquitous nature of George's image. He's sort of everywhere around the constituency. How have you managed to do that? That's pretty impressive, particularly for a new party.
That's really down to the level of popularity for him here. George has tapped into a huge feeling of anger and frustration, a real desire for change. And of course, his track record opposing imperialist wars in Iraq, in Afghanistan, his record on Palestine, people know that, they've followed it.
Are you confident of a positive result on Thursday?
I mean, whatever happens, we're getting a positive result here. There's no way Labour are going to win, absolutely no way. And that's really down to us and the campaign that we've put in. So whatever else happens, it's a positive outcome for us.
Labour won this seat for the first time in 1997, riding high on the wave of hope and optimism of New Labour. But it was the neoliberal policies of the Blair and Brown years that have ultimately sowed the seeds of Labour's demise in seats like Batley and Spen. It's easy to just attribute the mood here to Sir Keir Starmer's leadership, but the reality is Labour's impending loss in Batley and Spen is about something much bigger. It's about the party's drift into historic irrelevance. Many voters are beginning to feel that Labour's no longer a party for them. It's become a party for an elite of right-wing liberals who are simply too embarrassed to vote for the Conservative Party. Instead of representing working people of all colours and creeds, Labour's treating them with contempt. Labour is pandering to Hindutvari and Zionist racists and not supporting its previously loyal base of voters, including many Muslims. It's serving morally bankrupt careerists, not those who care about the everyday needs of the British people. In short, it's serving the establishment, not working people. If Labour loses here, it will be a defeat entirely of its own making. It will be down to its utter disrespect for the people the party was founded to serve. The Corbyn era helped to sanitise Labour's deeply rotten core, but the scales are finally falling from people's eyes. They'll no longer tolerate anything less than they deserve, and that's why so many of them will not be voting Labour on Thursday.